Hey everybody, this is Montana Howerton of Howerton Performance. We have a kind of a custom mid-level kit here on the table, the test bench. But I just wanted to show you guys a few of the features that our kits have and just kind of the way that some of our kits work. We get some questions every now and then about some of the things, so I just wanted to go over those real quick. So basically whenever you turn your switch on, it sends a trigger to the relay, turns the relay on. The main power comes from your fuse, as you can see right here. Comes over here. The relay turns on. The main power goes through the relay into the output right here. So as you can see, when I turn this on, the output turns on. So now we have the higher current going through the relay instead of through the switch. The switch cannot handle the higher current, so the higher current goes through the relay instead. The switches just turn the relays on and off. Another cool feature that, or at least I think it's cool, that our kits have is these jumpers right here. I hope everybody can see what I'm showing here, but these jumpers right here. Basically what that does is, most of the time your number 2 switch is going to be ignition, okay? So start, ignition. Okay, so I turn that on. This jumper sends that signal over to the next terminal. So now the number 2 and the number 3 relays are powered. That means the number 2 and the number 3 outputs are powered. This is so that you can power an ignition box on one of them, as well as, let's say, gauges, or maybe you're running a nitrous controller and you want it to come on. I mean, the controller itself, the progressor, to come on, when you turn your ignition on, or I mean, really anything that you want powered at the same time as your ignition. Maybe some switches or buttons on your steering wheel, you want to power those, to arm those. Whatever you want to come on at the same time as your ignition, it will. So now you have 2 outputs. Basically, just like when you get in your car and you turn your ignition on, it's going to power several things, not just your coil. It's going to power several things. So that's exactly what this does. It just gives you extra outputs on your ignition. Okay. Let's go ahead and turn that off. The same thing if you're going to be running dual fans. Let's say you're going to be running dual fans. And this is why we always put at least one extra coil, one extra circuit on our boards. Because let's say you want to run dual fans, okay? All you're going to do is wherever your fan circuit is, you're just going to put in a jumper just like this. And we always try to send an extra jumper so that you can do this. You put in an extra jumper just like that. Okay. Now, when you turn your fans on, you have your trigger right there to power your coil, or sorry, your relay. And that jumper jumps that trigger over to the next one to then power that relay. Okay, so once again, now you're powering 1 fan and 2 fans. So let's say you have dual fans on your radiator, or you have a fan on your radiator and a fan on your transcooler. This is how you'd want to do that. Fans can pull up to 30 amps, so you do not want to run 2 fans off of one 30 amp circuit. So yeah, that's another cool feature is these are adjustable. They're configurable to your specific needs. And this goes for anything. I mean, not just dual fans, but I mean anything that you want powered at the same time, you can do that. you just put this jumper wherever you want it, really, and it will power this circuit and the circuit next to it. So now you're not sending too much amperage through one circuit. Okay. And the reason that this kit only has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 wires, but as you can see it has 8 switches, is because this is a roll bar mount with LEDs in it, and so this last switch is going to be the LED built into the roll bar mount. This board also has power distribution. The guy that this is going to be going for 5 volts for his sensors, for a I don't remember if it was Holley or Fuel Tech, but anyways, it's for sensors for an ECU, and then also grounds for his sensor. But yeah, I mean, this is just kind of a rough overview. Also, another feature of our terminal strips here is, so here is the power going to the switches, to power the switches. Here's the ground going to the switches, okay? But we also put jumpers over here as well. So, and these are low amperage, okay? You do not want to power anything high amperage off of these, just because that's just not how it is built. So basically, once again, going to arming your steering wheel buttons or switches. You can arm, you can wire this into your steering wheel button for like trans brake or line lock, and then the other side, of course, would go to your, to a relay or something to power your trans brake, or it could go right to your line lock solenoid. But anyways, this is just an extra circuit right here, an extra power to go to whatever you might need to power. Low amperage, once again, do not put anything high amperage on these. It's just not how it's wired. So that gives you an extra ground and an extra 12 volt positive to go to whatever you might need to power or ground out. But yeah, and so some people ask, what all do I have to do when I get the kit? The main thing is battery negative goes right there. Battery positive goes right there. As you can see, as soon as you hook that up, your lights come on. So you're definitely going to want to put this on like a kill switch or something on your vehicle, so that your lights don't stay on all the time, of course. So basically just wire in your battery negative, your battery positive, and then each of these goes to your components. So once again, let's take your start, for example. Okay, you're going to wire up your start solenoid right there. The trigger for your start solenoid is going to go right there. You just wire a wire from here, run it to your start solenoid. It's going to go right there. Let's take your, if you're going to wire in a fuel pump, most of the time people go start, ignition, fuel, okay? It's going to go right there. You just run a wire from here to your fuel pump, and then ground the other side of your fuel pump out to, a good chassis ground or your battery, and you're good to go. So that's all you have to do is just hook up your battery positive. I would suggest, at least 8 gauge, 6 gauge, 4 gauge, 2 gauge. You can always go bigger, can't go smaller. And then a battery negative. Now this battery negative is just a trigger. It just controls the triggers for the relay. So it doesn't have to be quite as big. It could be 10 gauge, 8 gauge, something around there. So all you have to hook up is your battery positive, battery negative, and then run wires to your components. and then ground out the other side. That's all you have to do. Trying to think of anything else. So for example, you're not going to run a jumper. You know, let's say you don't have dual fans, you're not going to run a jumper, but you do want to use this extra circuit, okay? You want to use this extra circuit. All you have to do in order to use this extra circuit is to apply a 12 volt signal, okay? 12 volt signal. Let's say your trans brake, okay? 12 volts on your trans brake button, okay? We always recommend having a solid state relay for trans brake, but you don't have to in some circumstances. So you're going to go from a 12 volt positive. You can hear that. It's turning on and off that circuit, okay? So all you have to do is just apply a 12 volt circuit, or sorry, a 12 volt signal to that input right there, and it is going to power your output. So if you want to utilize this circuit, just apply a 12 volt signal to it. That's all you have to do. Another thing about our kits and wiring them up is these circuits go straight across. You do not have to trace wires. We try to make this as easy as possible. Don't be tracing wires. Don't say, well, this white wire goes where, which relay. No, you don't have to do that. As you can see, number 1, number 2, and remember that jumper, number 3, number 4, 5, 6, straight down the line, okay? Once again, this one has LEDs in the roll bar mount, so it's not going to trigger that one. But you just follow them straight across. Don't trace wires down, don't do anything like that. Just 1 goes to 1, 2 goes to 2, 3 goes to 3. And we also send a very basic wiring, kind of a diagram, a picture of the board, and just showing, you know, which wires power what. Just a very basic one. But yeah, I mean, this has just kind of been a rough overview of our boards, how they work, how you have to wire them in. If anybody ever has any questions, feel free to contact us. Send us a message on Facebook, give us a call, and we'll try to answer any questions that you might have. I think that's all that I have. We do supply an extra fuse, you know, normally at least one extra fuse source right here. Of course, you would have to put the fuse in there. That light that is coming on is just showing that that fuse is blown, quote unquote. I mean, it doesn't even have a fuse in it. But if any of your fuses ever blow, it will light up that LED showing that that circuit is indeed blown. But yeah, once again, if anybody ever has any questions, whatever, feel free to contact us. So thank you everybody for watching. This is once again Montana Howerton Performance. Everybody have a great day.